Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, and I'm holding up all of my top 10 makeup recommendations for y'all that you can buy from Sephora. And in this video, not only am I going to be sharing my recommendations with y'all, but I'm just going to be ranking them. Why not? So if you're on YouTube at all, I'm sure you've heard that the Sephora VIP sale, the holiday savings event, is upon us. And I recently filmed a video that was like my anti-recommendation, sharing my 2 questions that I ask myself before a purchase if I am really in a situation where I cannot be spending money on such frivolous things as makeup. And that's not to discount or like embarrass or attack any of y'all to say that you're so like dumb for buying makeup, because I mean, look at me, I'm the biggest clown here, okay? But I just thought that would maybe be helpful for any of y'all who needed to have an angel on your shoulder telling you, like voicing reason into you. Now for the rest of us, I know it's still fun to hear my recommendations, and I mean, even the YouTubers that I watch who are like kind of fiscally focused, I still want to know what they like, and sometimes I kind of take their recommendations with even more weight than some of the other influencers who just have a habit of spending more frivolously. Again, do what you want with your money. I'm not judging anyone here. I wanted to pick only 10 things because there are lots of things from Sephora that I have liked and they're good, but I also think that drugstore does an equally good job a lot of the time. So I wanted to choose only things that I truly think that like doesn't really have a drugstore comparison. So only 10 picks, and since I have like the magical round number of 10, I figured why not rank them. So I'm going to be presenting them actually from my number 1 like highest recommendation to my 10th, and by no means is my rank 9 or 10 like bad. I already told you that they made it to the top 10, so all of these I would recommend, but I just think rankings are fun, so let's start ranking these. All of these are things that I would actually tell myself to buy if I didn't already own these things. So also knowing my own price range that I'm comfortable with, nothing is over $42. The most expensive thing I have is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam Palette, and everything else is cheaper than that. Before we get into that, I want to quickly remind you to please like this video if you like it, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed and you want to stick around and see more of me, and if you don't already have your notification bell on, please turn it on if you want to. I'm not going to tell you what to do here, I mean. So let's start with my number 1 recommendation. It is this cute little baby. This is the Kaja Beauty Bento Trio in the shade Orange Blossom, and it's specifically this shade that I would recommend. I have another one in the shade Hella Azalea, which comes with like a very like sparkly, cool toned light pink shimmer and a hot pink matte and a hot, not hot, but like a very vibrant purple matte. And I mean, the formula on that is like actually really good. The mattes are very impressive, but just I use this trio a lot more. It has 3 shimmers, one in a light golden champagne, one in a very orange mid-tone shimmer, and this dark brown shimmer. I will give you some swatches actually of the 3 of these really quick so you can see the formula. I love these. So there's that first one, that pinky champagne, there's that very orange mid-tone shimmer, and that last brown, and these are just so creamy, so sparkly, so special. And I actually am wearing the lightest champagne, which was this one, on my lids. I actually, poor planning on my part, but I am not wearing like a full eyeshadow palette among my recommendations today. I'm actually wearing the Alter Ego Daydream palette, which is the dupe for Huda Beauty's new nude palette. It's because like this week I've been testing some like potential makeup looks, so let me know if you like this kind of pink color story for my wedding. But tapped on top of a shimmer from the Alter Ego is this champagne, and it is just very special. This cost $21. It's my number 1 recommendation, and so that comes out to be $7 per eyeshadow. Now I know breaking it down, $7 per eyeshadow is fairly affordable, but you also have to know that you'll like every single eyeshadow. So only get this if the color story screams to you. I think any of the Kaja Beauty Bentos in this line are excellent, so really take your pick, but my experience with Orange Blossom has been delightful. My number 2 recommendation is $25. It is one of Natasha Denona's mini palettes, and this is her mini glam palette. This palette kind of speaks for itself when you look at it. I mean, you can see what colors are included. The formula itself is very easy to work with. The mattes never give me any issues. The shimmers are so smooth. You don't have to work hard with them to get them to be even. They just show up exactly how you want them to. And it's just a very easy palette, a staple palette for me. I'm actually going to be using this palette a lot this winter season and fall season because I have decided that this is my go-to residency interview palette because it's just so non-distracting. It's not offensive at all. Yeah, so I mean this would be my number 2 recommendation because the formula is excellent. The price point is kind of expensive maybe for how much you get. I think that if you're spending Sephora prices on anything, it should be on something that you use over and over and over again, which definitely is, this palette is capable of filling that spot. I do recommend this one over the Natasha Denona Mini Nude palette just because the Mini Nude is a lot warmer than this one, and I think that, I don't know, we all have enough warm tones. Even if you just cover up this middle shade, this becomes a very, very true neutral palette. I don't think it's all that cool toned, but that's just me. This is my number 2 pick. Let's move on to number 3. My number 3 recommendation, I've been recommending this, screaming its praises ever since I got it, which was maybe in April time, and that is the Smashbox Cali Contour Kit. Ooh. And this includes so many things. This has a contour, bronzer, blush, powder / highlighting powder, and a couple shimmery highlighters. I only use this top one as a highlighter. I honestly don't use this one a lot because I typically already have something on my eyes by the time I get to my face. But when I was thinking of things to recommend from Sephora, I have blushes I like from them, I have bronzers I like from Sephora, but they're still each gonna be $25 to $30 something for a single product, and I just I just don't feel right about recommending those still, because you'd have to, with all those things added up, it would be quite a cart total. But this one is $40 and it has excellent versions of all of those things. So this palette I'm actually using for my entire face makeup. I use the bronzer, blush, highlighter, and I also did use this powder to set underneath my eyes. I didn't dip into the contour powder today because I just wasn't really feeling contouring, but it also is an excellent neutral cool toned powder for that. I actually think that this might be the number 1 contender to be my wedding face makeup because it's just so easy, especially if I'm going to be taking something on the go to touch up at the venue or right before the event or pictures for whatever. This is just something that's so easy to take with me, and I confidently love every product I'll use from here. This blush is such a gorgeous neutral blush. It's what I'm wearing today. The highlighter I think will photograph excellently. It'll look just very natural from my own skin. It won't look like trendy 2018 highlighter or anything. The bronzer is just a beautiful tone. All of this just works so well. So highly, highly recommend this. For number 4, I have this eyeshadow palette. This is the only full-size eyeshadow palette I'm recommending. It's the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette. This costs $42 original price. We've all seen what this palette looks like. This is also, I see a lot of people consider this for bridal makeup as well. For me, this is very, very warm tone. I don't know if I want to go quite that warm for my wedding. I would prefer maybe something more pink, maybe like what I'm wearing now. But this one doesn't have pink mattes or anything. But anyways, I digress. This palette, I think, is just still a very, very dependable palette. It was my everyday palette for a long time. There is also the mini glam palette that they released this year, which is $29. Honestly, if I were to recommend either the mini soft glam or this original full-size soft glam palette, I would recommend just getting the full size, because if for some reason I had to if I lost this palette or something and I bought the mini soft glam instead, I would be missing shades like Cypress Umber and Burnt Orange and Sienna and Fairy. None of those are included in the mini soft glam. They also decided to include Sultry as one of the 2 shimmers in that mini palette, and Sultry is actually my least favorite shimmer in this palette, so I would just recommend this full-size one, heaps above the mini one that came out this season. I remember like the first high-end eyeshadow palette I was considering buying. I walked into Ulta and asked an employee for their recommendation, and they were asking what my price point was, and I was like, hopefully not too like expensive. I don't know, I've never bought a high-end eyeshadow palette before, and he told me like, oh, I actually would recommend Anastasia Beverly Hills. They're more of like a lower price point and very high quality. And I remember hearing that at the place where I was, thinking like $42 is affordable. So I can understand still that $42 is no amount of money to laugh at. I love recommending little stuff like this because the price point is so much more reasonable to me to spend on something like that. But I was trying to think through any of my high-end palettes, which ones I would recommend from Sephora for this sale, and this is really the only one that I think I use consistently enough for it to be worth it. Moving on to my recommendation number 5, I have the Huda Beauty Nude Obsessions Light Eyeshadow Palette. And this is my last eyeshadow pick. Everything underneath or below this is going to be other kinds of makeup. So for my number 5 and like lowest eyeshadow recommendation, it is this palette. I love this color story. Every time I mention it, I tell y'all that it reminds me of like fairy aesthetic, and it just is very like princess, feminine. At the time this came out, this was a very like new color story, and I still very much enjoy it. The reason I'm recommending it a little bit lower than my other 3 eyeshadow picks, which were the Kaja Beauty Bento, Natasha Denona, and Soft Glam, is just because these are more everyday like products for me to use. Now, I very much enjoy this palette, but the deepest shade doesn't really give that much depth. It goes on the eye even lighter than it looks like in the pan. So for the everyday, sometimes I want something with more range, and this doesn't always provide that for me. But if I'm going for like a very youthful, innocent look, then this is for sure like the palette that I turn to. This is $29. Did I mention that? It's $29, and I think that's like right on the cusp of what I would consider to be too much for this. Only if it is suitable for your skin tone though. That's a huge asterisk with this product. It won't work for people with deeper skin tone than like me. Now on to the second half of my recommendations. My number 6 recommendation is the Becca Under Eye Corrector, Brightening Corrector. And in this entire video, I really wanted to pick things that I didn't think that drugstore does as well. And when I thought of items that I really can't replicate from the drugstore makeup that I own or the drugstore makeup that I've seen, this Becca Under Eye Corrector was like probably the most unique item that I have in my entire ranking. Just to show you like the capabilities of this, I'm not wearing any concealer under my eyes today. The only thing that's brightening that area is this. It's such like a nice light, it's a light peachy tone, and I think that that is different from a lot of the other very peachy color correctors that we've seen on the market, because those are typically kind of deeper and you need to cover it up with another kind of like base product typically. And the one that I'm thinking of right now that I was thinking maybe could be a similar product as this is the Pixie color corrector, brightening corrector, but I've actually seen the lightest color that they offer for that in store, and it's way darker than this. So I really don't have like a good dupe for this for y'all, which is why I'm including it in my top 10 recommendations if you are buying something from Sephora in the sale. The price of this is $32. It's not cheap, but I own it and I'm very happy I own it. I mean, every time I use it, I am kind of blown away. I think I might actually add this to my wedding makeup kit as well. My recommendation number 7 is the Fenty Gloss Bomb. Now I own 3 of these. I have the original Fenty Glow, this is Fussy, and this is Diamond Milk, and I'm not letting myself buy any more of these because I already don't use these enough with how much product I have in my life. But I highly recommend these. You can see how much use is in my my Fenty Glow. Like, yeah, I'm seriously scraping the sides. I need to lay this on its side sometimes and run it under hot water. I have taken out the stopper, so like that is how far I am in this original Fenty Glow shade. Fussy and Diamond Milk I don't use as much just because I like the warmth that the Fenty Glow shade gives. And each of these are, the full size I think is $19, and it comes with twice the amount of product as a typical lip gloss size. I know that there's also a set with a mini of Fussy and a mini of their Diamond Bomb highlighter, the one that's kind of a like glitter suspended in a cream formula. I think that one is $27, so I would maybe recommend checking that out, that little set out, if you want to try multiple Fenty items. I love the formula of these. Everyone sings praises of the formula. Yeah, I mean, I recommend them. They have a very balmy formula, completely not sticky. It feels like very nourishing, but it gives you the like most 2000s juicy plump lips. I'm actually not wearing any lip gloss right now, so let me just add some of this. And you can tell me if you think that is a 2000s worthy plump lip. I also realized that I've been wearing a pimple patch through this entire video, and I actually think this is like the closest thing to an invisible pimple patch I've ever used. This is one from CosRx. It's not their normal pimple patch. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll have it linked in the description box. I just noticed that too, which is highly impressive when you think about it. Now let's move on to my number 8 pick, and it's another Fenty product. This is the Fenty Kilowatt Highlighter Duo, and my shade is in Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal. So this side is Lightning Dust and the more sparkly side is Fire Crystal. Lightning Dust is the most gorgeous, natural, like slightly peachy, but like very, very natural highlighter. It's not what I'm wearing today because I am wearing the highlighter from my Smashbox face palette, but I mean, you can see the use on this side. It is significant and I wear it. It's probably my most used highlighter now that I think about it. I also reach for Fire Crystal a lot as an inner corner highlight because it has like, let me swatch it. It has such gorgeous blue like sparkles in it. It's a little bit cool toned and it's just a little bit spacey, a little bit magical looking, which I like adding to my looks a lot. The cost of this duo is $36. That's steep for highlighter, but also it quells my soul a bit to know that I'm getting 2 different products essentially within this duo. I would not spend $36 on a single pan of highlighter like for like that gold one they have or anything. I would only recommend spending that amount for a duo because you do get to me it's like you get twice as much out of it, because how often would you go through like a highlighter of this pan if it were just one shade? My number 9 pick is the classic Too Faced Born This Way concealer, and this is a full size I'm holding. It's in the shade Shortbread, but what I'm actually recommending you is to get their mini. They came out with a mini of this now that's $13 instead of, how much is this one, like $28, and the mini still comes with a considerable amount of product. I think it's a great way to try out this concealer without dropping the full like price, the full retail amount. Plus, if you can get the mini for $13 and then whatever % discount you get in this sale, I think that would just be like a very smart way to test this out. I like the formula of it. It's very easy to work with. I know people like this better than Shape Tape, which I also have, because I can also concede to say that this is a lot easier to work with. It doesn't like stick to one place as much as maybe the Shape Tape does. I would also say that it doesn't cover as strongly as Shape Tape does either, but I mean, like, weigh your pros and cons, what you would really prefer. I used this today, not under my eyes, because I wanted to show you how the Becca Under Eye Corrector works by itself, but I did use this all over my face for my acne scars and stuff. I'm sure you can still see a lot of them through because it's not like I went in with a foundation layer of this or anything, but I just really enjoy this concealer. It feels very nice. It doesn't ever get crusty, at least with the amount that I use. And I would honestly, I'm actually considering picking up a $13 size of this in maybe a different shade, because this one is very, very, very yellow. And I don't know, I want to try a more neutral color of this. That was my recommendation number 9. And now for number 10, I have my favorite cream lipstick that I have tried from Sephora. That is the Urban Decay Vice lipsticks. I actually have 3 of these, including 2 full size and a mini. This mini is in the shade Naked, and I also have full sizes of Liar and Insanity. So let me give you some swatches of these. Here is Naked. It's the most pink one that I have, and the formula of these are so comfortable and just very flattering. I think they don't look crusty or anything. They don't build weird on top of itself, like if you're ever reapplying. Next I'll swatch the shade Liar. This one I've used the most. If you can see how far that is in the tube, and that is how much product I have left of the entire lipstick, compared to Insanity, which is more new to me. I have used, you know, that much difference between the two. So first, let me swatch Liar. This is the perfect peachy nude for me, and I like my nudes to be a little bit deeper than my actual lip, so this is perfect. Like my everyday filming lipstick. For filming, I'm typically either wearing this lipstick or I'm wearing the ColourPop Blur Luxe lipstick in the shade CA Love. The last shade I'll swatch is Insanity, which is a lighter nude. And this one is actually a little bit too light for me to feel comfortable wearing on its own, but sometimes I can make it work, especially in the springtime. All those swatches are drastically different sizes and shapes, but I think that y'all get the idea of what these look like. Now, the reason why this is my number 10 pick and not any higher is because they're just lipsticks. I mean, I bought these actually when, well, I got this in a set, but I bought these when they were half off, so they were $9 instead of $18, which is their full price. And would I buy these at $18? Probably not. I would probably rather buy a Maybelline lipstick over these, but if I am to recommend any lipstick product from Sephora, it would be these. They are like gonna be Sephora range prices, and whether or not you think that's worth it is gonna be up to you. Personally, I would hesitate to purchase these at $18. I would probably wait for them to be on even greater sale than just 15 to 20% off. But I really do enjoy the formula, despite me saying all of that. There we have it. Those are my top 10 picks and my top 10 recommendations ranked for y'all. Y'all know me, I'm a cheapskate, and so it's pretty hard for me to buy, let alone recommend to y'all to buy things from Sephora. I've hardly bought anything from Sephora this year. At the end of the year, I'll probably do like an everything I purchased from Sephora video in 2020. It's not gonna be a lot. If you could recommend one thing from Sephora for me, what would that be? I'm also planning on filming a My Sephora cart video where I'm gonna be sharing not just the items that made it into my loves list, but the items that made it into the loves list and even into my cart for the sale. And it's still like over $200 worth of stuff, which for a lot of people can be like, that's like 5 things. For me, it was 14 things, 13 things, but I still like I'm not spending that much money on it. So look forward to that video coming in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video where I'm sharing with you like my top picks. I mean, I've tried a bunch of makeup from Sephora, and I'm gonna be honest, I think a lot of it isn't worth it. A lot of it is nice to have, but would I spend the money on it again? No. So this stuff is really the only stuff I think I would spend the money on again. Hello, don't mind me wearing lipstick and like literally nothing else, but I'm editing this video and I don't know what happened. I never filmed a proper outro, so I have to tell y'all at the end of every single one of my videos to remember that y'all are my treasure, find the beauty in every day, but most importantly, be kind to yourself. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!